live to Ulrich Brueckner, who's a professor of European Studies at Stanford University in Berlin. Let's get some analysis on this from him. Ulrich, at this point, with both sides once again blaming each other, a lot of people at home have learnt to, as a go-to move, to start asking the question of who benefits the most, or perhaps who suffers the most from the destruction of this dam. I don't know if that's a question you can actually answer, but I mean, what do you make of the events that we've seen today? Who do you think is likely to be telling the truth?
Well, I think of all the different questions we have been raising up today, this is the one serious one. Cui bono, who benefits? And if a country is defending its own territory, and if it faces major losses in lives and destroys the ecosystem and loses land and destroys the water situation for the farmland and everything that comes with it in the long run, then there is literally no point in making Ukraine be responsible for such a catastrophe. When we look back to the first days of the Russian invasion and the way the capital has been defended, the Ukrainians used controlled flooding to stop the invasion. So they actively used such an instrument of warfare and they communicated it. So if there's anything like a military reason behind it, why should they act differently in this case? So overall, during a conference that I attended today with the German Chancellor, no one came up with any good argument that it could not be the Russians.
Obviously, the fighting continues, the killing continues. We're also seeing, it appears to be quite a heavy reliance from both countries on what we would call these days an information war, the optics of the conflict. And a quite remarkable video, I would say, released by Ukraine, their soldiers urging people to keep other soldiers even, to keep their plans under wraps. Now, that didn't seem to be a video that was aimed at other soldiers. It seemed to be that's part of this information war. Is this just simply an important part of modern warfare that we're seeing?
Well, absolutely. From day one, we have seen fake news as a form of warfare and everything to address the emotions on both sides as an important element of warfare. And in every war, we have the fog of war as an important element, which is why I highlighted this kind of question, cui bono, as the only legitimate one. Everything else is just speculation. But what we can do, given that we have asymmetric information, is to look into who benefits from a situation, and that gives a pretty clear answer.
Ulrich, appreciate your time. My guest, Ulrich Brueckner, Professor of European Studies at Stanford University in Berlin. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.